The Lion King was written and directed by Jon Favreau and is the live action version of the 1994 Disney classic cartoon. Except this time, all the lions look like real lions. It's photorealistic. Everything was done in a computer, but they look like real lions. That being said, this movie is basically a shot-for-shot remake, and therefore I will be talking about spoilers because everything major that happens in this film happened in the original film, and I'm going to go on the assumption that you have seen the original Disney classic, The Lion King. If you've seen that movie, you've basically seen this movie, so there is your spoiler warning. My name is Tom, and thank you very much for joining me for this review. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. Also, please remember, give this video a thumbs up and take your place in the circle of likes. And leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought of The Lion King 2019. So for those of you who don't know, and if you haven't seen my review of the original The Lion King, you can go and check that video out. I will leave a link to that in the description below. The original Lion King in 1994 is my favorite movie of all time. I think that movie is utter perfection, and it's very near and dear to my heart, and I love that film so much. And I was very, very excited to see this new incarnation of The Lion King. I say new incarnation, but it really is just the same movie. But I was really excited to see this film because of Jon Favreau and what he did with The Jungle Book, and using that technology to create photorealistic looking animals. I thought, hey, this could be very good, seeing The Lion King done with real looking lions. And then some of the early reviews came out, and critics are not giving this movie a lot of love, and I'm a little bit down the middle because I like this movie a lot more than I think a lot of my other peers in this online movie space do. But this film isn't perfect like the 1994 original movie, but nor did it have to be. But I'm going to get into some of the things that I liked about the movie and then some things that didn't work. So let's start with the positives, because there are a lot of positives, and the positives do outweigh the negatives for me. This film looks absolutely amazing. I saw it in IMAX with Dolby Atmos surround sound. This movie looks amazing. It sounds amazing. The lions look real as they can look. You forget, like, this movie tricks you into forgetting that lions can't actually talk, because it just looks so natural. And you also have an incredible voice cast. Timon and Pumbaa, voiced by Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen. A lot of people came out of this movie saying that they stole the show for them, and they're absolutely right. Timon and Pumbaa steal the show. Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen have such great chemistry together, and they bounce off each other. They're absolutely hilarious, and they are one of the best elements in this new movie. As well as, surprisingly, the hyenas, Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed, they all like absolutely steal the show as well. And it's these side characters that for some reason steal the show more than the main characters do, and I'll get into that in just a second. But they do more with Shenzi in this film, the female hyena. They do more with her in this film, and her and Nala have a bit of a beef in this movie that I really enjoyed, and enjoyed that aspect of the film as well. And I've got to tell you, look, I love Jeremy Irons' Scar, and nothing will ever touch that, but I really enjoyed Chiwetel Ejiofor's take on this character. He isn't the exact same Scar as he was in the original movie, and that's okay, he didn't have to be, but the essence is still there. And they do hint at a bit more of a backstory between Scar and Mufasa and Sarabi especially. There's more of a backstory implied in this film, and I really enjoyed that, and it just added another layer to the Lion King mythology. So any review you see where people say, oh, this movie didn't do anything new, it didn't add anything to the Lion King story, don't believe that, because it really, to me, they really did add some new elements to the film, and they really added to the overall lore of the Lion King. But let's get into some negatives, because this movie does have its shortcomings, and one of those shortcomings is unfortunately the dialogue. This movie borrows almost 85% original dialogue from the original animated movie. And because it borrowed so heavily from the dialogue from the original movie, some of the dialogue feels really unnatural in this version. And it's not just because it's not the original movie, but it's because whenever they try and flow original dialogue from the original movie into newly written dialogue for this version of the film, it doesn't fit and it doesn't feel natural. It almost feels forced. And a lot of the times when they use the original dialogue, it just feels like the lions are standing there winking at the audience like, haha, I said circle of life, wink, wink. And I do wish that they had actually changed the dialogue and adapted a lot of it a lot heavier because there are many ways to say the same thing. And so you can say the same sentence and have the same meaning behind it and the same power behind it and mean the same thing, but you say it in a different way and you word it differently so that it flows and feels more natural and flows better with the rest of the original written dialogue for this movie. Now, I'm not saying that not all of the original dialogue used from the first movie felt unnatural to this version. Not at all. Don't mince my words here. But the majority of it, I feel like did. And it just felt unnatural in this version. And again, it's not because it's not the original. It's because this is a different movie and it has a bit of a different tone. And that dialogue was written for a specific movie in a specific time with a specific tone and a specific feeling. And to me, this version of The Lion King is a different feeling movie. And that's not a bad thing. But when you take that dialogue from a movie that feels and sounds a specific way and you bring it into a movie that isn't the same feeling and doesn't have the exact same tones, it feels unnatural. And it's weird to think about the fact that this movie, this new Lion King movie, it looks so real, yet the original movie feels more real. I think that's ultimately what's going to make or break this movie for a lot of people. And honestly, I'd be lying if I said this movie is missing a lot of that charm and a lot of the magic I think the original movie had. This movie at times does feel a little soulless. So I do agree with some of the critics on that point, but I don't think this movie is devoid of any emotion at all. I would have liked it to have had more emotion to it because, see, when I watch the original Lion King movie, I tear up. I get choked up every time watching Mufasa's death scene. That scene in this movie, while it looks amazing, it didn't elicit an emotional reaction out of me. I was just like, okay, here it is. They're going through this beat again. And like I was saying, with the dialogue feeling unnatural for the characters in this incarnation, especially with Mufasa to me. And while I'm so happy they brought back James L. Jones, he really sounds like he just didn't give a shit for this movie for the most part. That is when he's re-sang dialogue from the original movie. When he's saying newly written dialogue, it feels natural, but especially with Mufasa. And so when you get to that scene when Scar does what he does to Mufasa, it really doesn't feel, you really don't care. At least I didn't. I'm sort of watching it going, okay, yeah, Mufasa's death scene. It looks great, but I didn't feel anything. And I really missed that. And I really wish I did feel something. But unfortunately, the movie didn't make me feel anything in that moment the way I was kind of expecting and hoping it to. And this is the problem Disney's running into when they're remaking all of their animated classics, because with The Lion King especially, it's so beloved by a lot of people, and for me, it is my favorite movie of all time, period, full stop, end of sentence, that Disney was damned if they didn't, damned if they didn't. If they made this movie in the way they made this movie, and they didn't use the original dialogue, then people would riot in the streets. But if they changed up the dialogue too much, then again, you'd have people rioting in the streets saying the dialogue was perfect. Why did you change it? I was really hoping that they would find sort of that perfect balance between using original lines and also adding new dialogue and changing it up in a way. And they fell short of finding that balance to me. But anyway, overall, look, did I enjoy this film? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy this film. I did enjoy this movie, and I think it looks amazing, and Jon Favreau did as good of a job as he could because he was fighting a losing battle from the start. And this movie is very entertaining and quite funny, and it does have its upsides. And to me, the upsides do outweigh the downsides of this film. And is it the 1994 original Disney classic? No, it didn't have to be. I wasn't going in expecting it to be as perfect as the original movie, and neither should you. Don't go in expecting this to be the original movie, because it isn't the original movie. That is an unfair comparison. But go in, watch this movie, and judge it on its own merits, as I have tried to do in this review. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought of The Lion King, this new incarnation, and where does it sit for you among the live-action Disney remakes like Aladdin, Dumbo, Beauty and the Beast, and Jungle Book. So that will do it for my review of The Lion King. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button and ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and take your place in the circle of likes. Be prepared for more of my reviews coming soon. My name is Tom, and I will see you guys next time.